Hi, Bryce. Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello.
So, my first question is why the sunglasses?
Why the sunglasses? Okay, so initially when I started, I didn't show any face. So it was like here down. And then it morphed into like a mask just to ease my personal comfort more than anything. It started as like a security privacy thing. And then it was just more of like well, that's a little different. And it was more of an eye catching thing. So now it's evolved to either wear the mask or sunglasses and anything public facing just to have like a little something extra to give some of my fans that actually go all the way. So, and I think it's fun. I like the intrigue.
So, that's interesting. You said a security or like a security thing. Is that often an issue?
I haven't had any issues. I think everybody's just, especially when you're starting out as an OnlyFans creator, you're not sure what your goals are, what your boundaries are going to be. A lot of people are super kind of conservative about having an OnlyFans page and like discussing it with people. And it's not normally a public thing. It's more of a private, personal thing. So it makes sense that people are much more privacy orientated and trying to shield their, identity to not be, spotted by friends. But at some point you have to kind of cross that boundary if you want to be big enough or stay small. So, but yeah, no, I haven't had any issues. I'm very lucky, I guess you would say, that I have awesome fans. They're super committed and they're super supportive. And I haven't really had like any issues like that.
That's awesome. And kind of the big question, why the platform OnlyFans compared to, some maybe other social media platforms or other platforms that are out there? What kind of made you gear towards OnlyFans specifically?
So that's an interesting question. Prior to this, I pretty much was like the least social media girl you can imagine. Like I never had Snapchat. I still have never had Snapchat. I barely ever used like Instagram. Like I didn't have one. So to kind of go from that to this is kind of an interesting change. So we had only just heard about OnlyFans and like heard about its growth. And it was like towards the end of 2020 that I heard about it from like a friend. And then I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool thing. We just kind of wrote it off. So I only started in January of 2021. I missed the whole year of like 2020 COVID lockdown, like spike and everything. So I didn't really think of going to alternative platforms. I was like, okay, well, it's kind of like I went back to our like previous business. We started a sporting goods business out of high school and we primarily sold on like eBay and Amazon. So a similar kind of premise. If the marketplace has the eyeballs, but you're bringing the product, they're doing the advertising for you type of thing. So it's like, well, if all the fans are on OnlyFans, I will go there. Let's take one thing off the equation. So it really wasn't like, hey, let's go spray and pray on like all the platforms. Let's focus on one and master that and go as hard as we can. So that was kind of where we ended up going. So a mixing of not knowing about the others and knowing that was the one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. And it's something interesting that that I'm kind of curious about. So I used to work at Sonic and Chick-fil-A like before I did news and stuff like that. What other and I was like, I'm never going back to Sonic and Chick-fil-A. Like I'm just never doing fast food again because it was crazy. I have tons of crazy stories, but that's not the point. What other jobs did you have? And was like OnlyFans just like some people say, like for some people it's like easy money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like the cash comes quick and it's just a way to have people fund their lives. Like simple stuff like rent and stuff like that. Was that the case for you? Or was it more just kind of like I want to, create wealth and I want to do this and this seems like the path that will lead me to there?
Good question. So ironically, we get Chick-fil-A like 6 days a week here. Like every day for lunch, we get Chick-fil-A. So it's kind of funny. They know us well over there. Like my whole team of 20, like 3 that work here on site, everybody is Chick-fil-A for lunch. So anyway, it's just ironic.
I like Chick-fil-A.
It can't beat it. I mean, it's really good. So anyways, so I mean, I always was working, like from the time that I could work, I did. And I always wanted to have like the freedom to do things. So from like an early age, I flipped like a lot of my clothes on eBay. So like in high school, I always wanted to kind of, just have like, I wanted to look cute. So I would take things, I would sell them, I would wear them for a little bit, sell them. So it's kind of where my background in like learning how to run eBay. I ran through my mom's eBay account. I'm not, it's not going to give, an underage person an eBay account. And so when I started dating my boyfriend, we had like $200 and we went to a sporting goods store. We zeroed out the bank account. We bought some baseball bats and I knew how to sell them on eBay. So we flipped them. We made like $600 that first week. We're like, oh, that was cool. And then we're like, okay, we could, maybe do it again and again. So that was kind of the start of our sporting goods business, like right out of high school. So we've had that business for the last 13 years. It still exists. It does really well. It does a couple million a year. And at this point, it's on autopilot. But for 10 years, if you will, we were dedicated to that, building systems. We learned, just so much from that business about team building, inventory, software, at just everything. So that's where like a lot of our baseline came in, and we always were working hard to improve that. And that's where a lot of our financial freedom came from. In between, we dabbled on like other little projects. That's a physical inventory business. So like literal physical goods that you have to like sell. So you always have like this problem of like, you have to have inventory to sell inventory. So you have a lot of money tied up in it. So we dabbled in other health and fitness things. That's where we started working out, and we realized that we had a pretty good thing going there. We had accomplished some of our baseline of like income things that we wanted for our life. But we knew we didn't want to do that forever. We like to build things, like to hang out with our friends and just do kind of just fun stuff. And so that kind of led into just trying different things. I don't think we were patient enough on several of the other projects, but that's okay. We ended up then getting to the point where on Sunday, on our date day, I was like, I'll just make OnlyFans. I'll try it out. We heard about it from our one friend. Let's just, let's see how it goes. And I sold $62 in like the first hour in photos. And so I showed my boyfriend, and he was kind of like, like those are good photos, but like that's a lot. Like, what? So we went for a walk. We looked at the market cap, realized it was not like a niche thing or anything like that. So we're like, okay. And we started doing market research, seeing what the other content was like on platform. And we're like, well, we don't have any social media. We have no following, but we know what we're capable of. And this looks like a really cool, fun challenge. So we're like, we'll try it out. And basically from there, we did 2.2 million our first year, and we did 5 million without having any kind of social media accounts whatsoever. So like, if you look at my Instagram now, we're only just now starting to like work on that. Actually, we just built it. Like, we came at it from a business perspective and did it as like an authentic person. We just decided to be ourselves through and through. It's the easiest thing in the world, is to be yourself. And we just hardcore committed on being every little detail of our life shared. So long answer, but that's my job history.
No, that's awesome. And I think a lot of people would be curious, who are maybe interested in getting into that space, because you're kind of talking about how you guys, maybe didn't have that following ahead of time to kind of like throw you into that space or launch you into that space. So I guess what's like a piece of advice that maybe you would give somebody trying to enter the OnlyFans platform?
I would say have a clear, defined goal for yourself, because that will eliminate what you want to do with your page, or if you're starting to be a content creator. If you're trying to be number one, that's a different game plan than trying to have, a side hustle that you want to explore yourself with and share some fun things. So I would identify your goal, and then I would identify, how do you want to go about that? Do you want to be super public? Do you want to be super private? Because you can have your own full little world on your page that is, a small pond of dedicated people, and it's totally manageable as like a one-person team, and you can do it after work, and you can get a lot of fulfillment out of it. Or you can be like, no, I want to be hardcore. I want to grow this thing. This is going to become my new life. I'm going to commit to it, and I want to have a team of 10. So totally different things. But for me, and I can only speak from my personal experience, being completely myself has been key to our success here. When we're just sharing every little thing, even though some stuff might be hard or it's not conventional or it's not necessarily like, what people expect. I think it drives a lot of intrigue and a lot of respect from our fans. And I have built a really cool community. Like, I got spoiled because I got used to them and how they talk and how we would just bounce ideas off of, and everybody would be super like just constructive criticism and friendly. And then when I started the social media, I was like, oh my God, this world is like so upset with everybody. So it's totally different. But
yeah.
So I would say be yourself and have a clear, defined goal, so then you can align with your path. That makes sense to me.
And then kind of bouncing off of that question, who would not be good for something like a career like this? What are some red flags?
Technology? Honestly, it's totally your world. Like, the whole content creator space is like really intriguing, really interesting, because you can have, an audio platform with a podcast. You can literally make art on YouTube. You can make long form, short forms. You could do whatever. You can just document your life. And like, there's this thing where people are trying to share a lot more of their information, their life, and other people are trying to watch and engage and just build relationships with people. So I don't know. As long I mean, I guess if you don't even know technology, as long as you have somebody else who can do it for you, you know what I mean? So I don't know past that.
Yeah.
Someone doesn't want to. There you go. That's the real answer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because there was that whole like Andrew Tate controversy because he was like basically making money off of, you know, like all these allegations against him about him making money off of girls and stuff like that. So there is like this like weird kind of like gray line when it comes to like industries like these. And then Emily, I don't know if you had a question, but we're going back and forth, and I forgot whose turn it was.
Okay.
Well, it's okay. Yeah, I find it so fascinating because, you know, this was a platform that when I feel like it first launched that, you know, people had a lot of backlash and negative comments to say. And I feel like people have almost started coming around and recognizing that like this is a great opportunity for, you know, young entrepreneurs and people to make money and, like you said, a side hustle and be able to share their life with the world or share the parts that they want to share and have that extra income, disposable income if they want to. Right. And I'm kind of curious, like what sort of backlash, if any, have you gotten over the course of doing this?
Not much that I've been aware of. Like, I'm sure there is. Someone's always going to be upset with you about something, basically. You can't please everybody, that's for sure. Honestly, my Instagram comments are the meanest things, mostly just physical attacks on my boobs, honestly. But no, as far as like being like an OnlyFans creator and stuff, I think because we came at it being ourselves and like having like a business aspect to it, we've actually gotten a lot of really cool feedback, a lot of respect, a lot of different kind of, even just industries are just like, oh, that's neat. That's interesting. Oh, you guys are doing things differently. Okay, cool. Like, I don't really think I've gotten too much backlash. I mean, I'm sure there's that general underlying of like, oh, you make adult content. Oh, you know, oh my God, you know, you're sharing your life like that. That's, you know, not kosher, whatever. Things that people want to complain about, which fine, to each their own. I just don't impose my things on other people. So I would like the same kind of respect from other people. But yeah, I'm basically I want to create like a really safe community, which I think I have. And I want to have as many people there as possible to actually be themselves. Like there should be no problem with somebody being like a really great accountant and loving BDSM. Like those are not mutually exclusive. You can be both things. Yeah, I don't know that you're going to be doing accounting while you're doing the BDSM, but like, you know, like it should be fine. So, I have found that a lot of my fans, I mean, we get people who are like going to college and like they're going on their first date. And then we have like people who are widowers and they're looking for companionship. And we have couples, then they're looking to spice up things. So, I mean, we get this full gamut of people and everyone is there to just be themselves. And it's cool. It's cool because I've learned a lot about myself and it's nice to get the same thing back from my fans. People who are like going on weight loss journeys and losing 100 pounds. I mean, it's amazing. So like, it's not like I sell anything. I don't sell like a workout program and I'm like, yes, you must do it. No, like literally just the fans being there. They're like, hey, I got motivated, so I want to share my progress. I'm like, well, that's so cool. It's literally, I mean, just, I don't know. It blows my mind.
So you keep saying we, and you mentioned earlier that there's like 23 people on your team. How did that happen? Like what was, because you said it started with you and your boyfriend and then it just grew to 23 people and everyone's getting Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, there's kind of a gap in there. Sorry. Okay. So my boyfriend and I have been together for 13 years. We started the sporting goods business together. So pretty much almost from like day one, we have meshed really, really well. It was a cool meshing of skills where he's very good at like data, visionary, and like game planning. And I will be the workhorse to execute on a lot of things. And then we just together built a lot of skills. We spent thousands of hours like reading books, podcasts. I mean, every little thing that you could think of. So we went from having our sporting goods business and we started this and we quickly realized, okay, well, we need a couple extra hands. So we actually started pulling people from our sporting goods business. And when we're like, okay, this can be bigger and this is more important and more interesting, we're not the best at hiring. We're still getting better at it. Like we don't go out and post job listings. Even in our sporting goods business, we didn't. We always hire like friends and family just because it was more like a core principle of like, I know this person, I can trust this person, and I have full hope that we can train them in whatever capacity and we'll find something for them to do. So that's kind of really what we've ended up doing is just hiring like our friends and then friends of friends, and then they become our bigger friend group. And I mean, we are a collection of probably mostly untrained in our sector people, but we care enough. So we have a ton of people who have like just coding jobs. I mean, all sorts of stuff that like people who are not like professionally trained. They've just like taken the time here to like dedicate themselves to focusing on their skills. So so I have like 3 editors. I have 5 people that help me with ads. I have my chat girls. I have a couple of page operators. I have 4 developers. So there's a lot going on all the time. You definitely don't have to do it that way, by the way. We are crazy people. We love it. We spend 80, 90, 100 hours a week like doing this. Like we love it. So that's our shindig. But we try to loop back to the chat girls real quick. So they are my friends. I actually train them. And we say on my page, because people are aware that I have a lot of fans and it's a really big deal at this point. And I physically don't have the time to get back to everybody, which is a personal pain to me. So I literally hire my girlfriends and they sign each message and they let them know like, hey, I'll let Bryce know about this. Oh, hey, this is Elle. Well, and actually respond to everybody. So we're super transparent about that. So the fans like that too.
Oh, that's so cool. I'd really what does a day-to-day look like for you? Because I know obviously you guys have the sports business, so I'm sure there's kind of like overlapping and things like that. But what does a typical day look like? Like, what do you have to put in to make content happen?
So quick note on the sporting business. We have automated and systematized that so well and hired our friends and family to run that we spend 0 time on it. I have no idea what's going on there. I know it's there. They have a job and they're happy. Like, cool. I know it makes money. But it's good. So, but yeah, no, this is like we have blinders on. We are just full focused right here. But day to day wise, I mean, we're usually up like 7-ish, 7:30. We go for a walk. We do some brainstorming. My boyfriend and I, we work from 8 to 12, typically in our office. He's doing a ton of data work right now, and we have built our own software in-house actually to help automate and optimize a lot of our messaging and some other back-end stuff. It really helped a lot when I was still doing all the messages because I just needed to be able to be more efficient so I could actually focus on like the fans' response as opposed to like scrolling through a vault trying to find something for an hour. So that's kind of a big deal there. And page operations, content planning, and then advertising are kind of like my big things along with engaging with fans. So I do like live streams, messaging on my VIP page, stuff like that. So that's kind of a smattering. I will always have like a couple major projects or initiatives I'm kind of working on. Like right now I'm doing a couple big things with social media and a couple big things with my advertising. And I happen to have friends in town. So we're doing a lot of safe for work content this weekend. So like there's stuff like that. But we have team lunch from 12 to 1:30. We get the Chick-fil-A. And there's always something crazy going on here at the farm because we have 10 acres and there's a pond and we have, just anything and everything. It's always an interesting time. And we do another work block in the afternoon. We work out from 5 to 6. Whoever wants to hang out because we have a 4,000 square foot building in the back, and that's half gym, half office, and that's where everybody works. Like literally, my parking lot is filled with my team now as I speak. And then we'll do another night block. Sometimes we'll go for a walk. Sometimes people will hang out. We'll make some content. We won't make some content. It's a little fluid, but a lot of work. That's okay.
That is wild. That's how it's funny because it kind of sounds like a conference because I've been to like several conferences before and that's how they plan our days. It's like through blocks and team building and stuff like that. So it's just so interesting how it's like more business. Well, it is a business. So it's interesting. Like I never thought of it through the lens of like, the vocabulary that you're using is business oriented vocabulary, Yeah. So my question is, when it comes to the charity work that you do, because that's how I kind of came across your profile page is I get a bunch of like emails about people who are doing things specifically in charity because I write for a charity nonprofit. Nice. So number one, how did you get into the line of the charity work that you do, and where did it all begin?
So I always had like this like crazy love for like animals. So prior to starting OnlyFans, I would rescue cats. I still do. I do something called like trap neuter turn. So we like spay and neuter like feral cats, and we adopt out as many as we can, rehome them, and then other ones we will like return to safe environments or like a barn on a farm or something like that to help with like rodent control, stuff like that. So I've always kind of had that and dabbled and loved that. But when we start getting into the OnlyFans, kind of speaking to like some of what we were talking about earlier with like controversy aspect, we thought, well, this is a cool way to give back. It's a really fun way to engage with our fans on a totally different level if we fundraise with our fans together. I am already going to be doing my workout. So primarily most of our charities are naked gyms. Basically, I live stream in my gym. I work out. It's non-sexual. I just do my workout fully hard, like normal workout, but like I just do it naked and we give them really cool views. We hang out, I engage, and then we will pick a charity ahead of time, advertise that on the page. And basically all of the tips that come in from that, we donate the full amount. So even though OnlyFans has fees, which makes sense, they're running a platform, we donate the 1-to-1. So if we make $3,000 on the live stream, I donate $3,000 and I always post the receipt on the page. But speaking to the controversy part, we thought, hey, why not add on a little extra layer for the people who are like, you do adult content, you know, you're not a great person. It's like, well, I just donated to your favorite charity. So now how do you rectify that? You know, just like getting people to think a little bit differently, that you can be the accountant and like BDSM, you can do charity work and you can still make adult content. Like you're not a bad person for doing these things. So, so we got a lot of joy, I guess, out of just doing that with the fans. And a lot of the charities that we pick has personal meaning to myself or anybody on my team. A lot of my friends have, you know, somebody who knows somebody, or, you know, one of my team members on my team has cancer currently. And so we've done a lot of donating to her specific charity that's helping her through her treatment. So just everything that means a lot to us. And we've done a ton with veterans, first responders, and a lot of health charities too. So long answer again, sorry.
Wait, I have a quick question. When you do, when it's like for a person, like veterans or first responders or something like that, are people like, do they give you a look like you want to, you know, give back to our charity? Like, what is it exactly that you do? How are you doing this money? Like,
no, not that I've been aware of. I mean, I know I get a lot of the automated thank you emails, but no, I've never had anybody like, no one's ever returned any funds. No one's ever been like, oh, we can't accept this. No, everybody's been actually very receptive, very, very nice. Often I will kind of post like a couple different charity options and I'll let the fans kind of pick between them. But no, I mean, I've done fallen firefighters for the last 2 years for 9/11. We've done canines for warriors for like Veterans Day, 4th of July, things like that. So we try and gear it more towards like if there's a holiday or something like that, you know, Memorial Day, anything like that, we'll try and gear that around it. But no, I mean, everyone's usually like, this is really cool. We appreciate it. I mean, I have a lot of veterans and first responders on the page as fans, and they're like, hey, thank you so much for doing this, for thinking of like, you know, us. And it just, I don't know. It means a lot to me, probably a lot more than people even like realize. But yeah, it's been really rewarding. That part's been like an exceptional foothold, I guess you'd say.
That's so awesome. And I love that you are a cat person, because I'm absolutely a cat person too. So I'm like, yes, save the kitties.
I have bunches, so I get it.
It's like a mini zoo over here, I like to joke. So I'm interested because you know, especially, you know, being a female in society, I feel like is so hard sometimes. There's so much media content and, you know, propaganda pushed on you of what's expected and body image and all these things. And I'm, you know, I struggle with body image and self-consciousness and things like that. So have you always been like a super confident person? Have you had to kind of like fake it till you make it? Or is it something, have you grown into being confident? Kind of how's that like body image journey been with this and kind of before?
Sure. So thankfully enough, I think I got really lucky with my boyfriend in that he's always kind of pushed me to be like the best version of myself. We were always kind of like trying to learn things together. Like in our spare time, we're nothing against like people who just want to chill and watch games or video games or something like that. We barely ever did any of that. We were always like taking walks, researching things. And so kind of in between, like when we were kind of like dying down from the sporting business, looking for something else, that was when our health and fitness journey started. And that was because we had focused so hard on the sporting business that we didn't really like care or take, you know, great personal care of our aesthetics. So he had gotten overweight and he was like, you know what, I don't want to look like this. And I was like, well, I'll do it with you. And I was just getting like skinny fat. I've always been small and lean, but never like had a lot of muscle, I guess you would say. So we went on that fitness journey kind of together and we learned all of that. And at first I was like, why does anybody work out? Like who needs that? And then like I started to like actually pay attention to myself and I was like, you know, I could feel a lot better and I could be stronger and I could be more capable. And that, you know, it probably will make me feel like just more confident in myself. So we've been dedicated to that for like the last 6-7 years now. And I've made a ton of physical progress. I'm super proud of it. He's made a massive amount of progress. He looks phenomenal. And what's really neat is it kind of spread throughout our friends and throughout our family. And like they all started to take it as like a more serious thing. But I mean, we're nuts. We track our food, we track our weights, we track our workouts, like reps, sets, everything, like what exercise. And we've done that for like 7 years. So like we have all this data. We love data. So historical information. But I've really physically enjoyed it. And I would say distinctly with OF and me having to rise to the occasion, I guess personally, of like, I just got so much personal growth from doing OnlyFans, from being myself, from being out there, from being, like, hey, you know what? I don't know about that, but I'm going to try that. And then I'll get some feedback and see. And I was like, I kind of liked it, So I have gotten a lot more confident, a lot more capable, I guess you would say, in the last 2.5 years from doing this experience and from having my boyfriend's like unconditional support. And like, he's like, I believe you can do it. You can do whatever you want to do. Hey, is this, are we going to learn something? Are you going to, challenge yourself? Like, hey, cool, build some character. So without his support, I don't think I would be in the position that I am. And I think partially because I don't have like the social media presence and I didn't pay great attention. I was always so focused on like building our business. I didn't get a ton of that pressure, I guess you would get from society or from, I've heard other people talk about it. I just can't speak about it from personal experience. Outside of Instagram, I guess attacking my boobs. But I'm like, at this point, I'm like, come on, have at it. You know what I mean? It's fine. I'm like, my ass looks great. I built that. So, but yeah, I hope that answers it.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah. And Emily and I come from like semi-public facing backgrounds. And just the hate, I think we got hate because of the work that we did. Like sometimes like you would just show up and you would see like emails, like, so like I've tried to get, like someone called my boss and tried to get me fired for doing my job because we were news reporters. Yeah. And so just like crazy stories like that. And so it's always interesting to hear someone who does something a little bit more like, because like creating like OnlyFans content is definitely a little bit more like on the free-minded, like liberal side. And so it's interesting, like usually there's just a lot of open-mindedness, but then there can also be a lot of like judgment as well. I don't want to say hypocrisy, but just like people are going to be people and it's just human nature just to like attack other people. And so like when it comes from the liberal minded side, like sometimes it's like, I'm always surprised about like how truly kind of like open it can be, even though like people can be disgusting and like try to tear people down, especially on social media, which is like so toxic in my opinion.
People will always have something to say. There's no possible way to make everybody happy. It doesn't matter on what side of the aisle that you're on. Like someone's gonna have something. They'll be like, they're fine with this part, they're not fine with this part. I'm like, can we like just make a happy medium? But I'm with you. It's always gonna be something. And I just basically I'm like, that's fine. Like same thing I said earlier, like you guys do you, I'm gonna do me. I'm not gonna post my stuff on you guys. I'm gonna build my business, provide for 23 people, have an amazing time with all of my friends, engage with my fans, support them. So many of them have made, huge life choices, changing jobs, learning new skills. I mean, just having an effect like that, I'm like, that supersedes the fact that I make an adult video like that. Just because I have fun and I like to share like my entire life, like we jokingly say this is the most real vlog because it's end to end. Like normally you only get either just the bedroom on Pornhub or you get, just a day job type of thing. It's like, no, you see the whole thing here. But it's like, I am, and so is everybody else, this whole thing, like whether people want to talk about it or not, like people have sex and people have work and people have skills and friends. So it's like, it doesn't matter. If you want to harp on one thing, that's okay. Have fun with your life. I'm going to enjoy mine.
Yeah. I have like I have two more questions and then Emily, I don't know, like I'll ask the question you can ask and then, okay, one more. So do you have to like do anything to like get in the mood to like create content? Like, is there like a prep system that you do?
No. Oh God. I'm like lucky in that I'm pretty like, I guess naturally wild, which I was kind of already a little wild before this, but then I think I became uncorked. So now I'm just like, okay, well, this sounds fun. And I'm in a great environment where people just know that I'm kind of like that. And I'm like, hey, surprise, or something like that. But no, not really. I mean, sorry. Normally I'm just myself. And it's like, this is a cool opportunity. This is a cool concept. Like, this sounds fun to me. And yeah, I mean, for my videos, like videos post everything, like whether it's OF, social media, etc. Like I don't edit anything. I don't have filters. Like it's literally from my camera roll, dropped and uploaded. Like it's the most real thing. So like even though I have over 500 like sex tapes at this point, they're all like real scenarios. I don't like role play. I don't do scripts. I don't take, let's retake that. No, it's like if I, giggle, snort, trip over the rug, the light goes out, it, gets blurry. I leave all that in. I say all that. I'm like super like, I'm there to have a good time and document it and share my life. Like that's first priority. So it's just be myself, and I'm not forcing or faking anything. It just ties all in with like, be yourself and enjoy what you're doing type of thing. So no, just because I'm naturally like that, and I'm in a great environment.
That's awesome. And it like, I think you would use this phrase earlier, that it's like almost like a safe space that you've kind of created for some of your followers. And I think that's really cool, because kind of like what Victoria was saying, even when we were in the news, like people would email in hating, wanting to make comments about how I hate her hair today, I hate her makeup today. It's like, why? So to know that like on a platform like that, where, from my perspective, you maybe wouldn't expect that, or you would expect people to, want to, make negative comments. Like that's a really cool thing, that it's kind of almost this like niche safe space that you've been able to create. And I want to know, like, is there content that's like your favorite to create? Like, is there something that like when it's film day that day and you're like, oh, I can't wait to do this. Like it's I don't know if there's like something that is your favorite to.
Well, I'll address both parts. So I agree. I think it's really cool that it is a safe space. I think you kind of have an interesting thing, because it's like people don't really talk about, you don't get word of mouth from OnlyFans. You know what I mean? You're not sitting down at the coffee shop and be like, so the girl I follow on OnlyFans, it just doesn't happen. And like, it's like an elevated Instagram, like people want to follow your life and see it, but like Instagram's so filtered for like looking a certain way, where OnlyFans can be whatever, like actually there's a chance that a fan can join and they have a chance to talk to you, where in Instagram, you're like, that's just no shot. So I think that's really cool that they actually can see your real life, and having that safe, it's like they're actually signing up and they're committing, and then they have to recheck in. It's not an app they can pull up like TikTok or Instagram and just kind of scroll. It's like you commit to be there. So I think there's this extra level of commitment and seriousness for anybody who does actually join your page. They're more intrigued on getting to know you. So I think that's where that difference probably in follower versus fan comes in, at least from my book. I forgot the other question. I apologize. It was...
what's your favorite content to shoot, if you have it?
Appreciate that. Got sidetracked. Man, I don't know. I don't. A lot of the time, we are just doing things, and we just get excited about having a really cool, fun experience. So, like 2 days ago, we're working out in the gym, and it's just like me and my boyfriend and like 7 of our team, and we're just hanging out and having a good time. And I'm like jungle gymming up on like our rogue squat racks, and it was just like, oh, that's a cool angle. Oh, that's fun. Oh, here, we can make this real. That'd be really neat. Like, oh, hey, let's play. It just naturally occurs. So anytime we're just casual and hanging out, like we just have a good time, and someone's always doing something funny or interesting or intriguing, and we just have a time in a place where we can record that. And because we're on our 10 acres, we can do whatever we want here. So like we painted an 110-foot American flag on the ground for 4th of July. You know what I mean? So we just do things that we think are going to be fun and we're going to enjoy, and then naturally other people enjoy it too. So I don't know. Just having life be fun. I don't know.
So this will be like our last question, because we kind of, because for people who are watching this, we're actually recording this 8 a.m. on a Friday. So Bryce has been incredibly like generous with her time to do this. 8 a.m. Eastern time. So I don't know if Bryce is on Central or
I'm Eastern.
Okay, good. I was like, I hope she's not in Pacific, because this is 8 a.m. so early.
I still do it for you guys. It's okay.
So yeah, like my last question is your romantic relationship. You've been with your boyfriend for 13 years. Have there been like any bumps? Have there been any like tension or
Sure.
How has that kind of like journey been like?
Deep question. So we have like an open relationship, but that wasn't always like the easiest thing. And it's primarily based on like communication and honesty. So like that we've had a lot of discussions, and that takes a lot of effort. It's not an easy thing to kind of just like plop yourself into and figure out. And I think a lot of people who are in that space have difficulty doing that. And so we've found a good rhythm. We've had to make iterations over the years because just things change, parameters change. You think you feel one way and you get some more data and you're like, oh, okay, well, that was interesting. I wasn't expecting that. So, but as long as we're able to communicate and iterate and we realize that we are each other's priorities and on the same team first and foremost, that's kind of where it's come back to. And then it's like, well, he has the same permissions that I do. So I get to have fun. He gets to have fun. And then we are still like, we know that we're still committed to each other and come back. And like, that's our number one, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, I mean, not sunshine and rainbows all the time, 100%. Takes effort. It's not always going to be easy. It's not like, oh, we've reached a stage and now from here on out, it's smooth sailing. Like, I'm sure there's going to be interesting random things and events that, you're going to come across in life, such as any job, any friendship, any relationship. But I'm glad because I have been able to, I would think I had like kind of like closed parameters for myself in my life and like certain things that I thought like, well, this is the way that it has to go. And I'm glad that my boyfriend's so much more open-minded because he always made me think differently about things. And I mean, that's why we are where we are today, because we were thinking differently and because he would open my mind to some things that he's like, well, have you thought about this? Have you considered that? And I'm like, oh, no, but now I have. So I don't know, I'm really grateful for him. And I hope everybody can find a great partner in that they support them with whatever they want to do, whether that's, a painting hobby or running an OnlyFans. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, Bryce, thank you so much for joining us today. Emily, I don't know if you have any last words, but I just want to say again, just like, thank you for your time, because this is something that we were just so interested in having this conversation. And I think especially because there's so much like taboo around it. And there's definitely a lot of like, at least in my world, there's a lot of like from my age group, there's a lot of people like, oh, OnlyFans. Like my best friend is visiting me from Dallas, and I told her what I was doing this morning, and she's so open-minded, and she was like, oh, that's cool, But then like, I know for sure that there's going to be a lot of people that are like, what is this about? Like, what's going on? And it's like, when you come from that kind of like mindset, it's definitely just like, you're not at least curious. You know what I mean? You're not at least like wanting to ask questions, at the very least wanting to ask questions. You're just going to automatically reject talking to someone who might do something that's like something that you would never do. Like, even though you wouldn't do it, you're not at least like, wait, what is this about? You know what I mean?
Totally. So, I think people are just scared sometimes. They're probably trying to avoid something within themselves. It's usually a personal thing more than like another person thing. Like normally if you have an issue with somebody else, it's more of like reflected on yourself of like, well, I feel insecure about this. So like, that's just going to like push that insecurity up or something like, and I'm speaking for myself from personal experience on that. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting to ask people about their lives and what they do and why they do it. And like, we can all learn a lot from anybody. You can learn people, different places in life, different ages, different skills. You can learn so many cool things. Like, I'm not in the military at all, but I would love to know all about like fighter jets or something. Somebody teach me that, that's super cool. Like, you know what I mean? Just like, I think what you said applies very well.
Definitely. You can't be scared of what you don't know. So I think that was a great point. Yeah.
That's a good place to end it on. That was perfect. You can't be scared of what you don't know.
Agreed.